Leave It to Cleaver. Starring Savannah, Zombie Clown, and Cleaver Clown as the Cleaver. Filmed in front of a live studio audience. Welcome back to the channel, guys, the Psychotic Circus of Savannah. If you're new to the channel, I am a Halloween collector, but I strictly collect everything that is clown, circus, or creepy carnival. Now, I've been collecting for years, but one problem that I have as I'm collecting clowns is that I tend to get them quicker than they can really be rolled out. So recently I've started collecting older clown animatronics. I need something to quench my thirst until them Spirit Halloween 2022s come out. I need some. So in this generic box here is a clown animatronic from Morbid Enterprise. Usually Morbid's props tend to be a couple steps down from the stuff that you would see at Spirit Halloween or Home Depot or Halloween Express. Actually, I think that you probably would find them at Halloween Express. Halloween Express is kind of garbage. But I got a killer deal on it, less than $100. And for a full-size prop, that's kind of a steal. Inside here is Cleaver Clown. Let's go ahead and open him up, put him together, do a demo, and I'll tell you all the pros and cons of Morbid Enterprises' Cleaver Clown. Now, I've actually been conflicted about getting this guy just because of the quality, but I imagine he's going to be a really good addition to my collection. First is his head, but it's actually just half of a head. We have an arm and another arm. The god-awful instructions.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high.
We got his hip bone, an assortment of wires and plugs, cheap shoulder pads, his mechanism, his cleaver, which I have a feeling I'm gonna replace for something that looks a little more realistic, his outfit, which kind of smells like cigarettes, an assortment of leg poles, a pair of clown shoes, which are not his original pair. I'm a little disappointed by that. And his stand. Let's go ahead and put this guy together. We'll do a demo, and as always, discuss his pros and cons. So step one is setting his base down. We're gonna go ahead and put in his leg poles. Then we're gonna slide his shoes onto the legs. And now it's time to slide his costume on. I always find this to be the easiest to get his shoes and all of his legs on first before we slide his costume on, and then I let it just drop to the ground as I get the legs on. We're going to go ahead and attach his module. We're going to put on his hip bone by going over his shoulders, and there's a couple little tabs here that we just plug it right into. You can start to see it's beginning to take form of an actual person. I like to put his shoulders on next. I'm not sure if the instructions say that because we don't read instructions here. And now that his shoulders are on, we're going to go ahead and pull his costume up over his shoulders. Now that his costume is up and over his shoulders, I find this to be the easiest time to put on his arms, just by sliding them right up the sleeves. Now for the next arm. Now this animatronic is actually very similar to about 95% of other animatronics you're going to see. You might want to look in there when you're putting his arms together, but I've done it so much I can kind of just feel exactly where it goes. We're going to add his hand. And last is his head. Now, even though he sets up similar to all those other animatronics, you can tell just by the touch and possibly by the way it looks on camera that his quality isn't exactly the same. This particular prop I was able to get for dirt cheap because his motor doesn't work. I do have a replacement motor. We're going to be able to swap that out. Now usually during his demo he would move back and forth like this, but because his motor is broken, we won't be able to see that just yet. I will do a short later on once he is fixed so you guys can check him out in full working order. For now, let's check out his lights and his sayings and go ahead and discuss his pros and cons. So the pros and cons of Cleaver Clown. Let's start off with his pros. His costume is actually very high quality. I was really surprised. I prefer this versus like Towering Clown's costume, which is a little more plasticky. This right here actually feels like it could be worn by a real actor. I'm also a huge fan of his color changing LED eyeballs. It looks so much better in person than it really does on camera, but you can see with the lights off, it really does make him stand out compared to your typical Spirit Halloween animatronic. One of my biggest pet peeves is a lot of dialogue from an animatronic when their mouth doesn't move. I'm happy that his face, although static, accurately represents the laughing track that's included with him. His setup was extremely easy, and I believe that his motor probably burned out because he has 2 points of articulation set up to 1 motor. It seems like it's kind of straining to perform both actions, but it's very ambitious for Morbid to attempt it. And I prefer that his cleaver is actually hard plastic, as opposed to like the TNT Thrashing Clown that had a foam hatchet, which mine had a crazy crease in it. It was clearly obvious that it was foam, and I had to replace it with a more realistic looking knife. Now I hate that this one is yellow. We might end up making it look a little metallic, but I appreciate that it's made of high quality plastic. What's not made of high quality plastic, however, is this dude's face. The plastic on his face is really thin, and it seems like it's made out of the same material as SVI shoes are. It seems like I could rip it in half if I really tried to.
I am the clown of the tearaway face!
Here in a flash and gone the trace.
The sculpt of his face and the makeup on his face aren't very detailed. He might look really cool from far away, but I'm not going to be placing him front and center of my home haunt. He doesn't really have a full head of hair, and this hair just feels cheap in comparison to a prop that you may get from Spirit Halloween. What do you guys think? Put in the comments below. Is Cleaver a hit, or does he end up on the chopping block? Remember to like, remember to subscribe. We have so much more coming your way, and with that being said, happy haunts.